In this game, I was the one who was a victim of the positional sacrifice. This game was played in February 2013. I was white against the top Chinese player Ding Liren. And since I didn't see anything better for myself, I decided to repeat position. But my opponent found the way how to avoid the repetition by sacrificing the exchange. For example, he played here knight f3 check. So what is the idea if, for example, white simply take the knight and takes the rook? So bishop takes, rook takes. Okay, for example, queen takes and e takes f3. What does black have in exchange of the sacrificed exchange? First of all, this is light squares. Bishop and queen create a lot of threats on the white's king, so pawn h3 is a weakness after g5. So black wants to play g5 and to get rid of the white's knight, and then bishop h3, bishop g2. Another possibility for black is to activate his knight via a e4 square, so knight e4. So, and white has the whole exchange up, rook on f1 for example against the bishop on f5. But as we can see, the bishop on f5 is much more active in this position because the position is closed, and in closed positions rooks are not so important. So it cannot be activated via b1, because if rook b1 then simply bishop takes b1. But what to do else with this rook? If rook h1 then simply g5 and bishop takes h3. So as we see, white has the whole exchange up and the tempo to play now, but I cannot take any advantage of that. For example, h4, trying to prevent g5, then black plays bishop h6. He wants to exchange my knight again and invade via light squares to my king side. So bishop f4, and then bishop h3, bishop g2, and queen h3 is the threat by black. So, for example, bishop takes h3 instead of queen takes h3. Then e takes f3 again, queen d1. I want to take the pawn. Then g5, because if knight e4 and simply going back to e1 and threatening again to take on f3. So on g5, queen takes f3, g takes f4, and g takes f4. So how can we evaluate that position? White has a rook and two pawns against two black pieces. Well, it looks like black has a strong initiative on king side, but he cannot create any threat. So I think white is doing completely fine. So this is the position for which I should have gone after black's sacrifice. Because my plan is very easy to play. Rook g1, then queen g2, creating threats on g file. And at the same time, black cannot do anything to my king. And if immediate g5, then simply queen takes f3, g takes f4, and g takes f4. And it's about the same as rook g1 and queen g3. But in the game, I got afraid of that sacrifice. I thought I'm losing by force after bishop f3, rook c3, and then e takes f3, g5. So I played king h1, which is a mistake. Now black is simply sizing the initiative. He retreats with his rook. Now I cannot take on f3 anymore because simply e takes f3 and bishop takes h3. So h4, c6. Black covers the d5 square, and here in time trouble I made a huge mistake. I exchanged my bishop for that knight. I terribly weakened my light squares, and now simply bishop h3, and then black just exchanges my knight, which covers light squares, and I cannot do anything. King g1, bishop takes f4, and bishop g2, and Here I resign because black has an easy threat bishop, queen h3 and queen h1 mate. So as we can see, in this game black sacrificed the rook for domination on light squares, so that was the reason of sacrifice. So rook against bishop, but bishop is not worse as a rook. So sometimes even the rooks, even the sacrifice of the exchange works in such close positions.